Hello, it's MJ from Linus Publications, and this is part three of JD Vance. There was really way too much material since we were sort of starting from scratch with him to be able to do it in one video, I think, and have people watch it. And even broken up. Each session is pretty long. So let's take a look at the last one. And I had noted this is going to be the progression and the solar arc. But the only thing we're really looking at here is going to be the solar arc, because the progression, the one piece I wanted to talk about was the sun, and that's actually showing up here. Because the sun and both the progression and solar arc are actually at the same location. So we're going to look at the solar arc, and this is more towards the end of this year and into next year. And there's really only three things that I want to talk about here. So first, we're going to look at one relatively just a notable type of thing, but it doesn't really suggest anything dramatic, and that's Sun moving into a second house. Sun has been in the first house, and usually when the Sun is in the first house, you're sort of out there front and center. So you're really projecting out to the world. His Sun is going to be moving into the second house, and that's going to be around the middle of next year. And that because it's about a degree away. And that usually indicates that there's a different focus in life. So it's going to be more of a focus to making money, rather than sort of being perceived as like the center of his own little universe. So that, is just an interesting point. Now, I'm not quite sure what to make of it quite yet, but we'll see as we go on. Next point I want to make up is the Pluto, and that is conjuncting Uranus. Now that is not quite a degree away, so I have noted that it's going to be exact around March 30th of 26 next year. Now, solar arcs and progressions can have effects that go on for longer than the date I'm noting. So you could have month and a half, something like that. Rather, for a transit, it's about 2 weeks or so, plus or minus. Solar arcs, progressions, usually a month and a half or so. So this could actually bring it sort of back into close to the end of the year. Now, Pluto, again, when it's making a transit or a predictive type of angle, what happens is it's bringing its energies to whatever that is. And its energies here are in effect sort of a manipulation, destruction, power plays. So that's what it's bringing to what? Here's Uranus. So in effect, it's change, but the reason for the change is power play, manipulation. Could be him manipulating or other people manipulating the situation. So that's significant. And as I noted, that's around 3:30. This is also indicating that he's bringing that, or that's being brought to his Uranus, which means change. There may be change he's instigating because it's a conjunction. So he's not satisfied with things. Now, the next thing I want to note here is Uranus making a square to his moon. In many cases, we don't talk about the moon, and that's because if we don't have the time of birth, the position of the moon is not quite exact, because this changes signs every day and a half, every 2.5 days. So I don't like to bring it in if it's not something I can count on. In this case, Uranus making that angle, and we sort of know his time of birth, it might be off a little bit, but not much, indicates that, well, the moon is what we're comfortable with. Moon is our home area. It's also our emotions. Uranus is coming in and changing that. So in effect, home changes. Could be, again, stability, some emotional stability issues here. And again, not necessarily saying that, he's going to have a breakdown, but some things that are dear to him maybe influencing how he, and having those things be disrupted, may influence how he appears or interprets the world around him. So this is a relatively negative type of angle. And I just want to make note that Uranus making the angle to Moon, Uranus is the ruler of the seventh house, which would be enemies, known enemies, could be allies, could be verdicts against us. Against the Moon, Moon is the ruler of the 12th house. Those are hidden things. So it could be something is unexpectedly brought up, maybe by a group of people, about something in his past life. So that's a possibility, because that would also impact his present home life. Now, we'll probably come back and look at J.D. Vance's stuff maybe near the end of August. We've got quite a few going on between Trump's and J.D. Vance's, but as I noted in the last video, I'm not seeing things where I'm seeing a move into a position of power. I'm seeing stuff where his status is actually possibly being threatened, being disrupted. So again, it's sort of indicating that maybe he's not in a very secure situation. He's not stable where he is. But if anything changes, we'll take a look. But again, this is going forward. We've got data now up until the beginning of next year. So a lot of times I don't come up and say things, unless something drastically changes and then I'm wrong on something. So we'll expect to maybe do an update around August timeframe. So that concludes our 3 parts on J.D. Vance. I hope you enjoyed it and have a great day. Bye now.